Hello! Are you a law-abiding citizen? Well, let's find out how much you know about the laws of old. No pleading the fifth on these. Let's begin. Question 1. Other than in Exodus, in which other book of the Bible can we find the Ten Commandments recorded? And that's Deuteronomy. You'll find them in chapter 5. Question 2. Who did God give the Ten Commandments to? And he gave them to Moses. Again, you'll find it in chapter 5 of Deuteronomy. Question 3. On which mountain did God give the Ten Commandments? Was that Mount Carmel, Sinai, Ephraim, or Ararat? And that was Mount Sinai in Exodus chapter 19. You may also know it as Mount Horeb. Question 4. How many of the Ten Commandments are about honoring God? Is it 2, 4, 6, or 8? And the answer is 4. That's the first 4. The remaining 6 are to do with how you treat other people. In Exodus chapter 20. Question 5. Where were the Ten Commandments stored? Was it in front of the golden altar of incense, under the altar of burnt offering, in the Ark of the Covenant, or under the table of showbread? And the commandments were kept in the Ark of the Covenant. We find reference in Hebrews chapter 9. Question 6. On how many tablets of stone were the Ten Commandments written? Was that 1 stone, 2 stones, 3 stones, or 4? And Deuteronomy chapter 5 will tell us there were 2 stones. Question 7. Keeping the Sabbath was which of the Ten Commandments? Keeping the Sabbath is the 4th commandment. Question 8. Jesus said that anyone who was angry with his brothers was guilty of which of the commandments? Was it jealousy, lying, adultery, or murder? And he said you would be committing murder in Matthew chapter 5. Question 9. In which psalm do we read, "Oh, how love I thy law! It is my meditation all the day"? Is that Psalm 1, Psalm 90, Psalm 51, or Psalm 119? And that's the very long Psalm 119, verse 97. Question 10. Who came to Jesus and asked him which was the greatest commandment in the law? Was it a lawyer, a priest, a tax collector, or a doctor? And that's a lawyer, who may also be described as a scribe. You find the 2 references in Matthew chapter 22 and Mark chapter 12. Question 11. On which day were male babies to be circumcised? Was that on the day of birth, on the 8th day of being in the world, the 12th day, or the 14th day? according to Leviticus chapter 12, babies were to be circumcised on the 8th day. Question 12. Which Jewish feast was to be held on the first day of the 7th month? Was that the Feast of Weeks, the Feast of Trumpets, the Day of Atonement, or the Feast of Tabernacles? And Leviticus chapter 23 tells us that was to be the Feast of Trumpets. Question 13. Thou shalt not commit adultery is which of the 10 commandments? Is it the 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th? And that is the 7th commandment, according to Exodus chapter 20. Question 14. What is the 3rd of the 10 commandments? Is it that you shall have no graven images, you should honour your parents, that you should not have any other gods, or don't take God's name in vain? And that is that you shouldn't take God's name in vain. Now, Roman Catholics often leave the 2nd commandment out of their catechisms, the one about no graven images, and add an extra one about coveting at the end to make the 10. No graven images forbade the worship of images, whether the true God was being worshipped or not. Question 15. From what age were the Israelites able to go to war? Was it 18, 20, 25, or 30? Well, you might struggle to raise an army if it was 30. No, the answer is 20, according to Numbers chapter 1. Question 16. Which of these animals could an Israelite eat, according to the law? Was it a locust, a lizard, a pig, or an ostrich? And they could eat locusts, according to Leviticus chapter 11. Question 17. How often was the year of Jubilee? Was it every 7 years, 10 years, 50 years, or 70 years? It was Jubilee every 50 years, according to Leviticus chapter 25. Question 18. Under the law, for how long was a newlywed man free from public duties? Was that 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, or 7 years? And the newlywed man was free for a whole year, according to Deuteronomy chapter 24. Question 19. What sort of stone was an altar not to be made from? Was it a foreign stone, a hewn stone, sandstone, or a dirty stone? And you could not use a hewn stone, according to Exodus chapter 20. And question 20. What couldn't be eaten at Passover? Was it salt, milk, leaven, or lamb? And you couldn't eat anything leaven, according to Exodus chapter 12. So, are you ready for your law degree now? Or are you very much performing by grace? Do get in touch and let me know. Until next time, goodbye and God bless.